Okay, this video is about installing the PVC piping on an LS3 car that's already got the engine installed in the car. We have a piece of 3/8 inch pipe here that's bent to go in. You'll see how it goes in. Have a 3/8 inch three-way T-fitting, another small piece of pipe with a flare on the end. These pipes are made out of brake line, and the flare is a natural thing. Leave it on there, we'll show you why. 3/8 inch rubber elbow and some 3/8 inch fuel vapor hose. And we're going to show you how to get access to put this on real easy. Okay, over here at the engine, you're going to notice on this pipe right here, there's a filter on here that we have on. You want to take that filter off. You're not going to be using that. And then there's also a filter over on this side of the engine, but we got to show you how to get to it. Take your oil cap off. Take your dipstick out. Reach down around here and just pull up a little bit on the back end of the injector cover, and it'll pop up. Same thing over here on this side, it'll pop up. Both sides are popped up. Then you can just pop it off here and pop it off over here, and this piece will lift up out of there and out of the way. And then over here on where this hose is connected to this tube, there's a breather right here. You can take that breather off. Alright, then we're going to attach a hose to that to bring it over into this general area, but that's part of what you're going to be attaching. On the forward injector cover or coil cover, you can't take it all the way off the car without taking off the fuel fitting, the fuel line, but you can get access by just popping this side up and come over here on this end, pop this side up, and you'll be able to get up underneath here to get access. And if you do decide you want to remove the fuel fitting, all you have to do is squeeze on that white clip right there, and the fuel fitting will come off. You want to relieve the fuel pressure first, though. Well, we're not going to disconnect the fuel fitting here. So you got access through here without taking off the fuel lines. Now, we've actually already had this breather system on this engine, but I took some of the stuff off so that I could give some instructions for how to put it on. This piece of hose that's still on there was from that system I had on. And but that hose doesn't get put on first. First thing you want to do is take this piece of pipe here and put it in. And I'm doing this all with one hand, so you got to bear with me. This pipe is, the idea of it is it's going to come around the front end of this end of the engine and connect that hose, and it's going to go in there and lay on in the fuel rail system. If you were on this side of the engine, for example, this pipe would end up laying right through here. But I'm going to be on that side. It's going to be laying just on the outside of the fuel rail. And you can do this if you have two hands instead of one hand holding the camera. You're putting it in kind of like this, and when you get back in here, see if I can do this. You get back up in here, you want to pick up a cover and put your line in along here. First of all, you got to put your line, to bring your line back out far enough that you can put, hold on just a second. You can put this end of it underneath the fuel outlet, fuel inlet. See right there. Then you're sliding that. When you're doing that, you're sliding this in like this, and then you want to get it down on the opposite side, outside of this fuel rail, kind of like this. Basically like that. be careful you don't bang around the injectors or break the plugs on the injectors. Don't force it. You can work it down in there around these wires and stuff. Put it down in there. If it's right where it's at right now, that's far enough. The cover will go back on, no sweat. Okay, so once you have the pipe generally in there, you want to cut a piece of hose or have a piece of hose that's the appropriate length to hook onto here, and then the idea is the hose will slide over this pipe on this end. I'm, like I said, shooting this with one hand, so only got one hand to slide them together, so I'm going to slide it together and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have that slid together. Next thing we're going to do is come over here on the other end of the pipe using our T-fitting, and we're going to connect the T-fitting, or the elbow to here, then the T-fitting, and then this pipe to one half of the T-fitting with a rubber hose, and then the other half of the T-fitting is going to come this way with a rubber hose. We'll get into that in a second. Okay, so here you can see my pipe is coming up through here. No rubber, T-fitting, that 90-degree elbow, and then some hose coming off this way. We'll show you where that's going next. All you've got to do now is you can just put the injector covers back on, coil covers back on. Look up underneath here, you can see that horseshoe-shaped piece just snaps down over the fuel rail. Over here on this side, that horseshoe piece right there, right here, snaps down over the fuel rail, and we're all back in shape on that. The rear cover, these are the little things that go down over the buttons. These little things right here go down over the buttons that are in the valve or in the rocker cover. One here, it's a little stud we make, and one here. Bring this, I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me a little bit. Bring this cover up, set it down over the oil fill tube, and as you're setting it down, which I'm going to have to do with two hands, as you're setting it down, you can look down through this hole and eyeball to see that those two things on the underside of the cover are lining up with those two studs. As you're looking down through that hole, lining up those studs with the things on the underside of the cover that snap onto the studs, if you got one of them lined up, you got the other one lined up, but you can see down through, through here, as you're setting it down, you can see that one to line it up. Then down here at this end, you can feel the other one. And once you have those down, then you can put the top part of the cover on with these U-shaped channels, and that cover's done. Then you can put your dipstick back in and put your oil cap back on. Okay, to hook up the final connection, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to have to show you on a piece of air intake tube. For some reason I can't find the video that I recorded when I had the LS3 car here and I was showing the rest of the buildup in this video. Someplace, your throttle body is to your right. The throttle body's here. Airflow is coming this direction from left to right. And someplace between your mass airflow sensor and your throttle body, you want to mount this thing that we're going to talk about. What it is it's a 90-degree elbow, and I have a rubber grommet here. You'll have to, usually on the one that we had, that I took video of, but I can't find the video, we cut a hole in the bottom of the intake tube out of sight someplace, and then we cut it so that we could get this grommet in there. You may have to cut it and file it out a little bit, but you want to get this grommet in there. And the idea here is that this grommet, it will push all the way up to the flange. The flange will be fed in, if you will, through this direction, so that the flange is on the inside of the tube and the grommet's on there. The grommet's a pretty tight fit, so this flange should be sticking out kind of like this, pointed towards the rest of your hoses, and your hose that's coming from that T-fitting over on the forward valve cover on the driver's side, you have a T-fitting there, and that hose coming from the T-fitting is going to go to this this piece here, and it's going to be after the mass airflow sensor. Once we fitted the grommet into the tube, then we slide the grommet onto this piece of 90-degree tube with the flare on the inside, and we stick it in, coming in through the hole, so it's sticking out wherever the hole is. Come in and then work your grommet into place, because the grommet's going to take a little bit of work to get it to seal, because it's got a lip in there, and you got to get the lip in there, and one on each side of the tube, all that kind of stuff. This is the tube you're going to be using. The tube may not be bent 100% correctly. You may have to tweak it a little bit, either bend it a little bit tighter or loosen it up a little bit. I don't have a car here to fit the tube to. My master for bending it hasn't been found since we moved into a new building. So you may have to tweak this tube a little bit to get it to bend and lay in there perfectly the way you want to.